that follows, a man came with arrogance against the Quran, and then the table turned. Thank you for watching.
Who's Mark?
Mark is one of the disciples that wrote it.
There's no disciple called Mark. There's no disciple called Mark.
The thing is, I'm a newborn Christian, so I'm not well informed about the Gospels and New Testament. This is why I'm asking you.
I know.
I'm not trying to argue with you.
When the adulterous generation asked Jesus for a sign, according to the Gospel of Mark, what was this sign?
What's the sign? You tell me.
No, I'm asking you.
But he. What are the errors in the Bible?
What are the errors?
Yeah, what are the errors in the Bible in your perspective?
Okay, lying about history. Zombies.
Okay, that's not...
Zombies in the Gospel of Matthew. You believe zombies in the Gospel of Matthew?
Zombies?
Yeah.
What do you mean zombies?
The Walking Dead. Going into the towns and cities and...
Oh, no.
You believe that? Do you know who I am, yeah?
Yeah, Hamza, I know.
Have you seen my channel, yeah?
I've seen your channel.
You know what happens when people ask me questions, yeah?
You tell me what's going to happen.
Do you know what's going to happen?
You're going to debate me.
You don't know what's going to happen.
No, but I just want to ask two questions, simple questions. That's it.
No.
I'm not here to debate or anything.
I am, though. Anyway, go on. I'll tell you what. I'll treat your questions sincerely. Go on.
Okay. So the first question I have is, how can we be sure that the Quran that came 600 years after Christ is the true divine word of God?
That would be based upon the claim of the Prophet Muhammad being a messenger of God.
But since he was illiterate, that he couldn't read and write, how could he gain all the revelations that is supposed to be?
That's the question.
That's the question, right?
Right. So he couldn't read or write.
Yeah.
Yet he came with the Quran.
Yeah.
How?
How did he come? So you're saying God gave him the Quran?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So explain on that.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, like, how could that be? How could that have more credibility more than the Bible? If the Bible, some of the books that writ the Bible were.
Have you heard his question?
Yeah.
For God's sake.
When you say Paul that he's a fraud, that's what he's going to say back to you.
Yeah, I just want to hear his.
No. Okay. Okay.
So if a lot of the people that writ the Bible, a lot of the authors that writ the Bible were eyewitnesses of Christ that saw him die, get crucified, and resurrected into heaven. How is that?
Is that what you believe?
Yeah.
Why do you believe that?
Because eyewitnesses prove that people were there witnessing that his crucifixion and his.
Who's the eyewitness?
John, Mark, most of his disciples.
Do you believe the disciples of Jesus authored the Gospels?
Yeah, some of the people that writ the Gospels actually saw him ascend into heaven.
Right. Okay. So
how would you argue that the Quran, which came 600 years after Christ, has more credibility? Okay.
Here's my argument.
Okay.
The authors of the Gospels didn't witness what they wrote.
So say that again.
The authors of the Gospels didn't witness what they wrote.
But some of them did witness what
None
they
of them
wrote.
did. That's my claim.
Okay, that's your
None
claim.
of them did.
Okay.
Now I'm asking you,
Okay.
because you made the claim that they did.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you now, why do you believe when you read the Gospels, you're reading eyewitness testimony? Who's told you that?
I don't. That's just what is written in the New Testament.
Okay.
So
is this what Christian scholars believe? What you're saying?
No, I'm not saying all Christian scholars believe this, but this is what I have.
Who's Mark?
Mark is one of the disciples that wrote it.
There's no disciple called Mark. There's no disciple called Mark.
The thing is, I'm a newborn Christian, so I'm not well informed about the Gospels and New Testament. This is why I'm asking you.
I know.
I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm trying to get more.
I'll explain what you've done.
Right.
You've come here with a premise that when you read the Bible, you're reading history.
Right.
How can you be sure the Quran, which contradicts that history, why do I accept that over that? Yeah?
Okay.
That's your argument?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm interrogating your argument.
Okay, continue.
I'm interrogating the premise.
Yeah.
And the premise of your argument is that the authors of the Gospels were eyewitnesses.
Some of them were eyewitnesses, not all of them.
Which ones were?
I think John, Matthew, Mark, no, not Mark. Luke. Luke was one of them.
They weren't.
They weren't. But some of them were.
None of them.
No, some of them were.
None of them were.
At least John was an eyewitness.
John, according to Christian scholarship, has 3 writers.
Yeah. But this is why I want you to inform me.
I am informing you.
Yeah, tell me more.
Okay, so the authors of the Gospels are anonymous. You don't know who wrote them.
No,
Okay.
some books were written by John.
No, you don't know who wrote any of the Gospels. If you read the works of
Let's say Book of Revelations was written by John.
Who's John? Who are these names? Who are these people? Okay, so if you read J.B. Phillips, one of the great New Testament scholars, he says that all the authors of the Gospels are anonymous. You don't know who wrote them. Yeah? And if you don't know who wrote something, how can you be sure what they're saying is true? How can you be sure that they were there? How can you be sure they weren't lying? How can you be sure they didn't exaggerate? How can you be sure they didn't make mistakes? Yeah? And when you start interrogating what they write, you can see the glaring error. You can see the manipulation. So I'll give you an example.
Okay, give me an example, yeah.
When the adulterous generation asked Jesus for a sign, according to the Gospel of Mark, what was this sign?
What was the sign? You tell me.
No, I'm asking you.
But he told that John the Baptist would be.
No. After feeding the 5,000.
Yeah.
Okay. This adulterous the Pharisees came to him and asked him for a sign to prove who he was.
Right.
And Jesus turns to his disciples and he says, "This adulterous generation asked for a sign." It's the Gospel of Mark. What was the sign?
And the prophet Jonah. And he will be in the heart of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights. That's the sign.
That's what he said.
Well, he's wrong.
Why is he wrong?
Yes.
But explain why he's wrong.
No, let him talk to you.
That's the sign.
No, but he's saying what I'm saying.
You
what
can
Jesus
answer,
said.
not him.
That's what Jesus said.
Did he? Show me in the Gospel of Mark.
Oh, it's my fault. I can't be bothered, man.
No, you see.
But you're wrong.
No, it
Okay. This is not my first rodeo, dude. You're wrong. Okay. So, according to the Gospel of Mark, this is what Jesus says. This adulterous the nation asked for a sign.
Yeah.
No sign shall be given.
Okay.
Then he gets in his boat and leaves.
Okay.
What about
No
the
sign.
gospel? What about the Gospel of Matthew?
Okay. No sign. Okay.
No, what? It's Gospel of Matthew.
Right.
He's missing out.
Okay.
He's only looking at
I
one
told you I'm not well informed, so
I'm
I'm just.
informing you. Because I want you to go
But I'm allowed to get other
gospel and
people's
centralize it.
perspective of it.
He's wrong.
No, you can't.
Why
look
is he
at one-
wrong though?
Because he said in the Gospel of Mark, he
Yeah.
said it's a sign of Jonah. He's wrong.
It's connected to Matthew.
Mark is not connected to Matthew.
Of course it is, man.
Because here's the thing, Matthew
It's the
copied from Mark.
same Christ.
Okay, so this is the problem. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's
No,
not
I
helping.
know what I'm talking about. Of course I know. You don't understand.
Really?
You can't just take something from one gospel and centralize
What
it.
was my question to him?
All 4 gospels are
What was
connected.
my question to him?
It's true.
What's the sign that Jesus said to the
In the
Pharisees?
Gospel of Mark.
Why only in the Gospel of Mark?
Because that's my question.
In the Gospel of Mark, he said no sign, but he said
You
in
didn't say
Matthew.
that. You didn't say that.
No, I said.
You said sign of Jonah.
I sign of Jonah, yeah.